Now we will look at how to process an 85 authorization for a protection case in which the copay has been waived. Remember, only on a protection case can the copay be waived. Many of the steps for processing the 85 are similar to those demonstrated in the 85A processing video. Therefore, I will be moving through many of the steps slightly faster. AKK0 is oftentimes not available on an 85 case. However, all the information needed to complete the case is contained on the 85. You will still need to check AKK0 to verify that kinship care funds are not being received by the household. Before we go any further with processing the 85 in the KIC system, we want to verify that the justification is valid. As we can see, our client has recently entered a treatment facility as part of a court order. In order to comply with the orders and retain custody of her son, she will need to have child care services while attending the day treatment center. Additionally, the copay is being waived because she is not currently employed and cannot be during the duration of her treatment. To me, that seems like a valid reason for having child care under the protection order, as well as having the copay waived. Therefore, we will continue to process the case in KICS. Our search for Andrea Stewart yielded 3 results, none of whom seem to be our client. Therefore, I will be starting a new case with our client's name. Using the demographic information from the 85A, I've gone ahead and set up the new case information in KICS. From here, I will move to the authorization screen. At the authorization screen, I will enter the specifics for the authorization. Click on Joshua's name and add authorization. Here, instead of entering the CAMES case number, we will need to enter the TWIST case number. The TWIST number is found in the top left-hand corner in the first box. The case cannot be processed without a TWIST number. If it's missing, you will need to contact the worker to get that information. Once I have entered the TWIST case number, I will choose my authorization type, which is for protective services. Also choose our eligibility type, which is CCP. CCP is the only type of eligibility associated with P&P cases. From the 85, we can see that the copay is being waived. Therefore, in the KICS authorization page, we will check Waive Copay. We'll select our authorizing office, which is the Fayette County P&P office, and our authorizing worker, who we can see from the 85 is Betty Lomax. We'll look at the authorization to see what our start and end dates are. This authorization starts on January 19th and ends on July 19th. As you remember, 85 authorizations are only valid for 6 months at a time. Once all this information has been entered, we will save our authorization. From this point, you will complete the interview as normal, adding information provided from the 85 as appropriate. As we look at the 85, we can see that the client is not receiving any earned or unearned income. Additionally, there was nothing that indicated that the client was attending classes. Therefore, from the employment screen in KICS, we can move to eligibility process, skipping the screens in between because there's no information to enter into them. At the eligibility process screen, we will assign eligibility to Joshua, giving him CCP. Again, this is the only type of eligibility associated with a P&P authorization. You will also notice that our interview date is on January 28th. However, our eligibility start date is on January 19th. As you recall, this is the start date of the authorization. Verify that the end date is correct, which is July 19th, 2011, and then select your reason for care, which in this case is protection. At this screen, verify the information is correct and click Finish. Once you are at the Documents Needed screen, you will choose No Documents Needed for the child in this case. Although the case will still need to have the 91 returned, the case is completed and approved at this point. From here, you will move to the Case Forms page to print the application in 91. You will select the application from the drop-down list and request it for printing. Once you have printed the application in 91, you will want to sign them both. The application is placed in the case file and the 91 is sent with the 90F to the client for signature. From here, we will move to Enrollment Summary. We will use the provider information gave on the 85 to process the enrollment. We can see that the child is to be enrolled at KinderCare on Appian Way. We'll select the child to be enrolled and add enrollment and search for the provider. Our search brought up several KinderCares, so we'll narrow it down by the county that we're in, which is Fayette. And we can see our KinderCare on Appian Way is listed here. By clicking on the CLR number, we will enroll the child with this provider. Our care start date is the date the authorization started, which is January 19th, 2011. It's also the day that eligibility began. Our answer to non-traditional hours is no, because the child will be attending normal daycare hours. From here, we will hit Save and add the daycare schedule. We need to pay careful attention to the provider information in the days being authorized. The child in this case is being authorized for Monday through Friday care at a licensed or certified provider. We will use a school schedule to accommodate the Monday through Friday requirement. Remember that when school is open, he receives part days, and when school is closed, he will receive full days. We will save the schedule and return to Enrollment Summary. At the Enrollment Summary screen, we will need to allocate the copay and then create and print the 94 and 94C. To create the 94C, we need to remember to check the box and then select Create. Once the 94 and 94C have been created, you will print a copy for yourself and one to send to the provider for signature. Now that we have entered everything from the 85 into the KIC system and created the case, we will create the 90F and the 105 to be sent to the client. On the 90F, you're going to include the client's information at the top, and you're going to indicate what we are requesting the client to return and by when. As you can see, we're giving the client 20 days from the date we send the letter to return the 91. We've indicated what we're asking for here at the bottom by asking the client to please sign and return the enclosed rights and responsibilities form. And again, we have reiterated the date that everything is due. The 105 gives the client approval information. It shows the date that the case is approved for from January 19th through July 19th, what kind of copay she'll be paying, if any, and who has been approved for child care services. Additionally, we are letting the client know how many people we are counting in their household and what kind of income or deductions we are including. You will need to have 2 copies of the 90F and the 105, one for the case record and one to be sent to the client. You will also send the 91 along with the 90F to the client. From this point, you will need to enter your case notes according to the approved format. Verification will come from the 85. If you're in the habit of using the Manage Case Change Date option to track the case in your work basket, you would also enter a case change date for the due date on the 91. If the client fails to return the requested information within 20 days, you will then proceed with actions to terminate the case, including emailing the DCBS worker to inform them of the impending termination and sending a 105 to the client. This concludes how to process an 85 for protection and a waived copay.